it's done.
News channel.
Alrighty, welcome back. Let's go onward and upward. A couple things. If my clevises would fit in here, or if my push rod would fit in here, and both of them do. The reason being is that I've used these servo horns before. More than likely, what you will have to do, and probably what I will have to do on these, is to drill out the hole. I'm going to use the hole that is the farthest from the surface of the wing. That will make it so that I have less throw on these. We saw the amount of throw that I had on these servos here, and that's a lot of throw. So I'm going to use partly the radio to tone that down a bit, but I'm also going to tone it down mechanically. Here we've got these servos. If you have not accommodated for the space, the circumference of one of these so that it fits in, I would suggest at this point, if it is already in the plane like this, I would suggest the trick in which you heat this up with a flame, nice and hot, get something to hold it, and quickly jab through and bring it back out. Real quick, real clean, etc. For these of course are going to be drilled, a block of wood, and then drilled through. So you'll want to hit both of these things. A little piece of fuel tubing. What's that for, Stu? You know what this is for. Come on. This isn't obvious. You'll see that. Oh, I'll pick that one up later. I'll have to aim a little better. There we go. This is to make sure that the clevis stays closed. That's what it's for. You know, that's a cat. I don't know if you heard that, but that's my cat that wants in and not going to come in right now. That little cat likes to get on. The only thing I have in here as far as furniture, besides my roll around top, see, nice and easy, and hair everywhere. So no, it's not going to happen today, kitty. I line this up. Well, that's not too friendly to line up. This is where I did this little trick before of taking some off. And there it is. You see I've got that much cut off. Here's a comparison. So I line the wing up flat. But you can tape these if you wanted to. It's too long. Far too long. As I look at the wing lined up, that is going to do the job. So I make an indentation into the wing by pressing on it just a bit. I just press on it. There is no hole here, you see? I don't feel a hole. This is kind of like last time, when I thought there was a hole there and there wasn't. There's my hole. So at this point, this one lines up pretty well. See? What happens if you screw up and they're not exactly the same? Well, one of the things I'm going to do, if I am off on this side, I am going to make sure, I am going to measure the other side. My belief is that this one is correct. It looks like it's correct. There's my indentation. Pick up the wing just slightly. Make my marker. Take my marker here. Stu, you didn't put any tape on there. You didn't put a piece of tape on there. What's going to keep that thing from ripping around and all that? you kidding? We had this discussion, remember? Okay, there's that. Still too long, just by a little bit. I'm going to have to, of course, take this out and screw this thing in even farther. About a half turn, maybe a turn, whole turn. Take another look. And I am exactly on. Exactly on. Perfect. Behold the magic applicator. I'm going to set this down. We're going to do the same thing I did with the last wing setup. I'm going to come over here. You'll see that there's a piece. Actually, that's turned out just right. There's a piece here. That's the dot. We're going to add 2 drops to the side of this thing and let it just suck up in there. Just let it soak up on in. Any residue that I leave on here, I went and got some more Uncure. I can wipe that off and make it look great. My big concern here, of course, is the wrinkles. It looks terrible. I'm going to have a lot of ironing to do. Maybe I'll take it down to the local, cleaners, and never mind. Anyway, here's the next one. We're going to get it on an angle just a tad, like so. Make sure everything is flush, which it is, and add. There it is, you saw it. And it just soaks it up. It just licks that stuff up super thin. And it is pretty super thin. And that'll set up. Do I need to add any kicker? You want me to? Sure. Let's add some. Do you feel good about kicker? Not a problem. Will that set up without kicker? Yeah, it will. We should probably hook up everything. And there's my connections right here. Lay this down. Connect. Woo! Now the thing is, when I put this on here, and get it positioned perfectly, it doesn't hit. Well, how are you going to attach that, Stu? Well, my plan is to not glue those on. That's my plan. I do not want to glue those things on. And right now, I'm going to kind of press on this. Move this back and forth to make sure that I have the nice clearance that I'm going to need. You can't have this thing all the way to the back of the wing. Why not, Stu? Because there's a horn here. And that thing, if you start to move it, it's just going to grind up. It'll probably either strip your gears or peel this thing up. So this has to be away from the seam between the actual aileron itself, the functioning portion of the wing, and the wing. So what do you do now, Stu? Well, I've got an idea of what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a piece of Scotch tape and I'm going to tape this down. Bam. Is that it? That's all you're doing? Just taping it down? No, I'm not. That's going to look like crap, Stu. Seriously, you're just going to put on the tape thing? Oh, that's so... Come on. I thought you would put a little more effort into this and make it look nice. Well, yeah, it's wrinkly already, and I'm not going to say that it's, that it needs some help or that it doesn't need any help. Ta-da! Yeah, it's a piece of, you could buy this stuff at pretty much any hobby store in any color that you want. If you've ever done those little cars, those little modeling cars, in general, You already know how to apply this. It's the same exact thing. Let me get the water. Okay, this is special Fijian. No, this is tap water. Let's take our two pieces that we started with here. Here's the tap water. Here's the wing we are dealing with. I guess I don't need my cutting board anymore at this point, or my pin. What are you doing, Stu? Ah, I'm putting those into the water. This is terrible. And here's what I'm going to do. I could use a mister on here and just mist this up, or I could take a little cloth and kind of dab it up with some water. Slide the decal around. This is the sticky side. I'm sliding it around. I can slide this into position. Like, okay, yeah, I think you're going to go about right there. Get my next one. Peel the back off of this. Get some water going. Soapy water I recommend. I didn't put any soap in this. But if you'll notice, I am sliding this around. I can slide this into position. Leave it where I think it should go. Come back and get the one that's going to join these two across. This one here. Wet it up a bit. Wet this up. And slide stuff around until it fits my criteria, how I want it to look. Does this square right here look pretty square to you? It looks pretty square. I mean, it's good enough. Unless you're really up there and you're really looking, you're not going to see this. So I'm just going to slide and position this stuff into place. Once I think it's good, once I think it is stuck, I'm going to squeegee the water out from underneath. And I'm going to use this towel to help me. See it? That's not bad. And this will look better as I squeegee some more and get the water that's in there, the bubbles. This is starting to stick now. All right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to edit some of these parts so that you don't have to watch this entire process. But I'm going to record it all, and I'll just pick out the spots that make the most sense for you to see. Because a lot of you are thinking there is no way, you know, I got one of these planes, Stu. I have one of these things, and there's no way to iron this stuff out. That all it does is just create wrinkles. All right, here's the gig. If your temperature is off, especially if it's too high, you're right. You're never, ever going to get your wrinkles out. Ever. This right here is at the right temperature. This 3 worked out well. As you'll see me go across this. No sock. Going, you know, nothing on here. But you're going to watch this take place. You're going to see this stuff rise up just a bit. Look like it's going to form a bubble or something. I'm going to end up, oh, that's trouble. See that? See that section there? Looks like it's going to be trouble. Okay, so hey, I'm on the last part. Yeah, I'm still doing my Fallout music. Do you see all that? Check it out. The trouble is going to be around my tape over here, but other than that, as I work this across here, I'm confident. And you should be too. There's really no reason to think you're going to screw things up. Start with a lower temperature, and if it's not sticking, set it a little bit higher. Your worst enemy is going to be high heat on this or any other plane. You're going to want to be at a nice even heat. If your heat is exactly on, as we're going to discover right here that this is absolutely on, You see these bubbles? I don't know if you can see them. The light might not work. But these bubblers are going to sink back in and they're going to stick right to the plane. They're going to inflate and stick right to the plane. Now, take a look. None. I got to fix that little guy. Other than that, you saw this thing all messed up. Now we're going to go through the whole wing. This I'll have to work on a little bit. No wrinkles, no wrinkles, no wrinkles, no wrinkles. Work on this a little bit. This is that tape all the way to the end. Voila!
Stu's channel.